Monarchy. A monarchy is a form of government where a single person, usually a king or queen, holds power for life. This position is often inherited and passed down through generations within a royal family. Monarchies can be absolute or constitutional. In an absolute monarchy, the ruler has almost complete control over the government and its people. In contrast, a constitutional monarchy limits the monarch's powers with a constitution or set of laws, and often a parliament guiding the country's governance. Monarchies have existed for centuries, shaping history through their influence on culture, politics, and society. While some view monarchies as outdated, they remain symbols of national identity and tradition in several countries around the world, blending history with modern governance. Republic. A republic government is where the people elect representatives to make decisions and govern on their behalf. Unlike monarchies where power is inherited, republics emphasize the role of citizens in choosing their leaders, often through regular elections. In a republic, the head of state is usually a president, elected for a specific term, ensuring that leadership is not permanent. Laws and policies in a republic are created through a democratic process, where the elected officials debate and decide based on the people's needs and wishes. This system promotes accountability, as leaders can be voted out if they fail to meet the public's expectations. Republics value the principles of liberty, justice, and equality, striving to ensure that power lies with the people rather than a single ruler. Anarchy. Anarchy is a concept where there is no formal government or governing authority, meaning there are no leaders, laws, or structured rules. Instead of relying on a central power, people in an anarchic society are free to govern themselves, often relying on voluntary cooperation and mutual aid. While some view anarchy as chaotic and dangerous due to the lack of control and order, others see it as the ultimate expression of freedom, where individuals have complete autonomy and are not bound by imposed rules. In theory, anarchy aims for a society where people work together without coercion, but in practice, it often leads to instability and conflict as different groups or individuals struggle for power. Despite its challenges, anarchy raises important questions about authority, freedom, and the nature of government. Presidential. A presidential system is a type of government where the president serves as both the head of state and the head of government. In this structure, the president is elected by the people and holds significant power, including the ability to enforce laws, command the military, and make key decisions on foreign and domestic policies. Unlike parliamentary systems, where the head of government can be removed by a vote of no confidence, a president usually serves a fixed term, providing stability. The separation of powers is a key feature, with the executive, legislative, and judicial branches operating independently to prevent any one branch from becoming too powerful. This system promotes checks and balances, ensuring that power is distributed and leaders are held accountable to the people they serve. Authoritarianism. Authoritarianism is a government structure where power is concentrated in the hands of a single leader or a small group of individuals. In an authoritarian regime, the government controls many aspects of life, including the media, political activities, and sometimes even personal freedoms. Citizens have little to no say in how they are governed, as elections, if they occur, are often controlled or rigged. The leaders make decisions without much input from the public or other branches of government, limiting the checks and balances that are typical in more democratic systems. While some argue that authoritarianism can bring order and efficiency, especially in times of crisis, it often leads to abuses of power and a lack of personal freedoms. This system highlights the tension between control and liberty in government. Remember to subscribe and continue watching to discover more on types of government. Parliamentary. A parliamentary system is where the executive branch derives its power from the legislature or parliament. In this structure, the head of government, usually called the prime minister, is chosen by the members of parliament rather than being directly elected by the people. The prime minister leads the government and makes decisions, but they must maintain the support of the majority in parliament to stay in power. This means that if the parliament loses confidence in the prime minister, they can be removed through a vote of no confidence. The head of state, often a monarch or president, has a more ceremonial role. Parliamentary systems are known for their flexibility and responsiveness, as the government must regularly answer to the elected representatives, ensuring that the leadership remains closely tied to the will of the people. Constitutional. A constitutional government is one where the powers of the leaders and the government are defined and limited by a written constitution or set of laws. This structure ensures that no one, not even the highest officials, can act above the law. The Constitution outlines the rights of citizens, the structure of the government, and the checks and balances that prevent any branch from gaining too much power. In a constitutional government, leaders are accountable to the law and citizens are protected from arbitrary rule. This system promotes the rule of law, ensuring that decisions are made according to established principles rather than the whims of leaders. Constitutional governments are often associated with democracies, where the Constitution serves as a safeguard for freedom, justice, and equality, ensuring a fair and stable society. Socialism. Socialism is a government structure where the focus is on equal distribution of wealth and resources. In a socialist system, the government often controls key industries and services like healthcare and education to ensure that everyone has access to these essentials. The idea is to reduce the gap between the rich and the poor by providing equal opportunities for all citizens. Rather than private individuals owning large amounts of wealth and resources, these are managed by the state or shared collectively. Socialism aims to create a fair society where everyone benefits from the country's wealth, not just a few. This system can vary widely in practice, from democratic socialism with elections and individual freedoms to more centralized forms where the government has greater control over daily life. Communism. Communism is where all property and resources are owned collectively by the community rather than by individuals. The goal is to create a classless society where everyone has equal access to goods and services. In a communist system, the government typically controls all aspects of the economy and makes decisions about production and distribution. There is no private ownership of businesses or land. Instead, everything is shared to eliminate economic inequality. While communism aims for fairness and equality, it often involves a single-party government with strong control over all aspects of life, including politics and personal freedoms. This can lead to challenges, such as a lack of individual rights and difficulties in managing resources effectively. Despite its goals, communism has faced criticism and struggles in practice. Totalitarianism. Totalitarianism is where a single ruler or party holds complete control over all aspects of life. In a totalitarian state, the government has power over the economy, media, education, and even personal beliefs. Citizens are often subject to strict rules and heavy surveillance, with little to no personal freedom. The leader or ruling party typically maintains power through propaganda, censorship, and sometimes fear or violence. In totalitarian regimes, opposition is not tolerated, and dissent is harshly punished. The goal is to control every aspect of society to ensure absolute loyalty and unity. While totalitarianism can create a highly organized society, it often comes at the cost of personal freedom and human rights, leading to significant challenges for those living under such regimes.